All right, good afternoon everyone, and thank you for availing yourselves this afternoon. We're just going to go around the room and introduce ourselves, starting with Betha, our software developer from Skhokho. So if you could kick us off, Betha.
Okay, hi everyone that's in the room and guys that are joining online. My name is Betha Skhokho. I'm a software developer from a company called Daddy Software. And we're the company behind Skhokho, the business management software that I'll present to you here today. And thank you guys for attending. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you, Betha.
Hello, everybody. I am Sinigiwe Pahlani, the assistant developer at Daddy Software. So I'm currently helping with this entire project.
Okay. Perfect. I think most of you guys are familiar with me. I'm Noma Zizibondo, program manager in charge of the BMF and Octodec cohorts. And the reason why we're here today is to get training for this fantastic software, as well as to kick off the pilot. As you know, this will be rolled out for free for a period of 6 months, and depending on usage, meaning that the businesses that are going to be beneficiaries of the software need to show that they use it. So how do we monitor that? Through reports, through you submitting your management accounts in the format that Skhokho puts them out. So that's why we're here today, and thank you again for availing yourselves. So without further ado, I think we can kick off the training better. Are we going to need a link like we did previously?
No. I think what I will do today, I will make it a very light, just like showing you what's there, and we'll make the recording available after the session that you can go and watch it. And then what we'll do is that we'll try and have individual sessions with everyone where we will now take you through, because watching a presentation is not the same as actually doing it, So I'll take you through what you must do, and you guys can try it for sure, but we'll try and have individual sessions with everyone.
Okay.
So that we can take you through and make sure that everyone. So what will happen is we've already inducted the admin into the system. So Norma and you're already inducted into the system, which means that they are now able to send invites. What they will do is that you shouldn't go and register on your own. That's very important. What will happen is that you will get an email in your inbox that will be an invitation email. It will come through, it will have like a link, a button that you must just click and follow, and then there'll be like a what they call a token. You can just copy and paste the token, and then you'll be able to create your username and password so that you can log in future. So the way the system works is everyone that's sitting here is like the business owner. You guys are the business owners. So when you get sent an invite, you'll be able to create your own business account, which belongs to your specific business, and then you're going to put in all your business information. I'll show you how. Then you are able to invite the rest of your team, because I'm assuming maybe you got 2, 3 employees, whatever. Then you can you do the same process of inviting those guys onto the system so that everyone can have access. But I'll show you all of that now when I get started. So you'll get an invite email. When you get it, it's very simple. Click, register, and then you're good to go. All right. And then I'm going to show you what happens once you've registered on the system. Or let me just start actually from the home page. So if you go to Skhokho website, this is what you see. Like I said, do not go create your own account here. You will get a link that you must follow so that it's a sponsored account and you're able to be monitored under the cohort. If you create your own account, it'll do something different. What is Skhokho? Has anybody heard of it before? Is it the first time? First time. So think of it as a business helper software for your small business, right? You have to do monthly invoicing. You have to do sometimes project management. Sometimes you have to do, even just keeping HR records, payroll, pay slips and things like that. Skhokho is the one sort of software that helps you achieve the majority of that in one place, right? So if you look at the menu here, you have, project management, CRM, HR, accounting, OKR, timesheets. If you guys do timesheets, you can use that, do that on the system. And there's a new one we're going to add. I think by the time you guys come in, by the end of March, we will have it, which is social media management. So that's very exciting. Hi. It's all right. I think you want to sit this side so you can see the screen. Okay. Yes, yes. You're welcome. Thank you. You haven't missed much. We're still just doing introductions.
Okay.
Cool. All right. And yeah, we're going to add, that's very exciting. We've been working on it for a couple of months now. Every company has got social medias, Facebook, Twitter. You know, you'll be able to do your scheduling and everything on here as well, so that we have the full house. Okay, so when you get started, when you log in, when you get that link and you log in that you will receive, you will land on this page. This is the dashboard of the application. So how everything is structured is you can navigate over here. This is the menu. And then you can also like navigate at the top, but this is the best way to navigate. So think of it like apps on your phone. You know, there's a calendar app, meetings app, notes. You won't have blogs. There's a personal app, OKR. These are all apps that you can open up, and then there's more that you can see underneath there when you open. So this for me is the best way to navigate all the different apps that are there on the system. So when you come in for the first time, I would recommend you go to the top here where your username will be, whatever name you've provided. If you open that menu at the top, a good place to start is with your profile. There'll be like a random picture of a lion there, but you can go in there and you can update your profile picture. You know, you can go to edit profile. These are tabs. You can go to edit profile, update your profile picture. If you want to change your password, all of that, your job title, you can do all of that here. If you go to the same place, because you guys are business owners, I assume like maybe in your team, you've got someone who's doing different parts, like different things in the business, HR, maybe someone else is helping with accounting. This is where you can invite the rest of your team, you know. So under next to profile where it says company settings, if you click there, this is where you can do your, you know, company information, your logo. You can update it here. You just click on edit company details there. You can change your logo, your you know, currencies and all of that, and then it's settings for the entire application. So when invoices get sent out, they are in rands and not dollars or whatever, things like that. And then members, these are tabs as well. So at the top, look at members. This is where you're gonna invite the team, your other team members, like other people, you know. So let's say you got another co-worker, you're gonna come to the members tab and click at the top there where it says invite new member, and then you put in their name, surname, you know. Very important to put in the correct email address because they will receive an email similar to what you've received. That email will have a link that they can just click on and set their username and password, and then they will automatically be under your profile as employees. And then you can select, these are where you can select yourself to be the aligned manager, because the way the application works is it works in a hierarchy format, like a business. You will be the owner and everybody else will come in under you, which means that when we do things like leave applications on the system, you know, the person who's the manager is the one that gets to see the leave, to approve the leave for the employee. When we do timesheets on the system, the person who's the manager is the one who gets to approve the timesheets. So there are many things in the system that requires a manager to do. So when you set your manager here, in future, the leave, the timesheets, even like, you know, social media stuff that needs to be approved will go to that manager. So it's important that you set the line manager of the person correctly here. So if you have a department, you must not mix the departments together. And then once you've set the line manager for that person, then you decide what access of apps they've got. Because in a business, of course, you wouldn't want everyone to log in and see all your invoices, for example, or everyone to log in and see all the HR records, including everyone's payroll and things like that. So you might want only one person is responsible for HR, and only one person maybe does the accounting. So when you do the invite here, you must click the right app access for the right person when you invite them. You can change it later, but this is the important part about doing the invite. So when you invite someone and you say, okay, manager app means they will also be able to invite other people under themselves. So let's say you have a team, you have an exco, and maybe HR manager has got 3 people under them. You can give them the manager app so they can invite their team, you know, and then they will be the manager of those other people and you are their manager. And then accounting app is people that must have accounting rights, like they'll be able to do invoices and do the management accounts on the system. You can also invite, even if the person is not in your business, you've got an accountant somewhere and they need to see your invoices, you can still do an invite and invite them, and then they'll be able to, you know, if you want them to use this for their accounting. HR, that person can see HR records, they can see payroll, they can see all of that, obviously, so you don't want everyone to see that, just the HR department. And then project and CRM is just like different apps. The project app is like operations, you know, so when we do projects, you'll see, we'll get into that later. And then the CRM is the one which people have what we call, you know, people that can do like, you know, the leads, you know, the, you know, email marketing. I'll show you all the stuff that's available in the CRM. And also when the social media comes through, it will be part of the CRM. So if you want somebody to be your social media person, you must give them the CRM app because it's included in the customer relations stuff. So you do that, you select the right things, and then you say add member. That person gets an email in their inbox with a link. They click, they join. You'll see them down here under members. So you'll see them here as they log in, and then you'll be able to have one place where you see all your team members in one place. Another thing that I want to draw your attention to now is almost every page on Skhokho has like this video. It's not the same video, even though it might look like it's the same video everywhere you go because it has the same front end. But it's a different video on every page. It's for you to understand what the page is about. So if you reach a page and you see a video like this, you can play it. It shows you what's happening on that page. Like it's got some training stuff about the page. So in case you don't get the video we're doing today, you can also just navigate. On every page, there's a short video about the page. And then you can watch it and then see what the page is about. So the important thing, what have we covered so far? Update your profile, do your company settings, and invite your teams. That's the first thing everyone should do when they get the thing. After you've done that, I'm going to go from HR upwards. Each and every person has this thing they call the personal app. So even whether you gave someone HR access or not, or you know, everyone will have this, what we call the personal app, because it's standard for everyone. So on the personal app, you have your tasks, your HR file, leave, timesheets, payslips. You don't have to use all of these things. It depends what's important in your business, right? But the most important thing, which I know is important for the monitoring as well with the, the property point guys, is the HR file. So here where it says HR file, just click it and tell all the employees to do the same. Everyone has the same thing. When you get here, you just add your personal information, your ID number, your tax number, your address, and so forth. So this will be included in your HR file. Your banking records, this is just for your records. If you and your business, if it's important for you to know this information, you can ask all your employees to do it here. And what's nice about this as well is, like when your employees change banking records, they can just come update it here, and then you always know what's the latest records to pay your salary into, whatever. And then HR documents here, you have to physically attach the documents. So there's a space for a bank letter, employment contract, qualification, CV, and so forth. So all of these forms like your HR file for every employee. And I'm sure as a business, you want to have one place where all of the stuff is sitting. So if like an auditor walks through the door and says, show me all your HR records, you can just go in one place and find them. So this is where we record it. There's some background noise. I think if you can mute if you're not talking. And then if you want to use our leave management system, you can do that. We've got leave management. So this is where people can just like apply for leave on the system. And you can apply for leave and all the records will be here in one place. And what's nice as well here is you can also attach sick notes or whatever. And then you have one place always to go back to find all your leave records in the past. You know, so when you apply for leave, a person can enter the leave here. The assigned line manager will see it under their app, and they can approve or decline the leave. And then if they approve it, then you can manage the number of days they are getting. You know, like those days will be deducted from the balance and so forth and so forth. And then you can keep track of, it's like a leave management.
You get these notifications as your employees are...
Yes, you do. For leave, you get notifications. Obviously, we try not to... There's a bit of background noise. If we can like mute if you're not talking.
I think it's fellow. May you mute your mic, please, sir?
Okay, great. So there was just a question here about notifications. Yes, for leave you get notifications. We tried as much as possible to minimize the number of notifications you get because we don't want to spam everybody. After a while, people ignore the emails. But yes, for leave you get a notification when there's an application and when it's been approved, because that's important. You get like an email that gets sent to you to remind you. Yes, the email that you use to register.
Hi, fellow. Can you please mute your microphone, please, sir? Okay, I've muted his mic.
Okay, thank you. All right, so that's leave. And then these timesheets we recently added last year because we got guys asking for it. I don't know how many people work in a project environment or services environment where you have to track the hours people spend on different things. So we have introduced the timesheet functionality. Very easy to use, very straightforward. You know, you just come in here, you can create a timesheet. I'll click on this one, for example, because there's nothing there. Is there something that has hours? Yeah, that one. All right, you can click like, yeah, you can open a timesheet, and there's two types of records you can put in. You know, I think with the project guys, they know sometimes you book to projects, sometimes you book to overheads, depending on what you're doing. So we've covered both. You can book to overheads, you can book to specific projects. You know, you can see all the projects that are available here. You know, like when you create a project record, we've made it easy that, you know, when the person logs in, they will see automatically the projects assigned to them and the tasks assigned to them to book time to, you know, so they don't have to remember what are the projects I'm busy working on. It's there on the drop-down menu. If you didn't assign them anything, the drop-down menu will be empty. And they can just submit the timesheet. When it's submitted, you can see the total hours, the line manager can approve or decline. And what's also nice about this timesheet functionality is that if you're doing project finance, on the project side, as the hours are being booked to the project, we actually count them in one place, and then you can immediately just like produce the invoice for all the time in one place and like send it to the client, which is a very nice feature. So you don't have to like every month go through all your timesheets one by one and try and add all the hours together to do an invoice. So there's actually functionality here. I'll show you on the project side. You just click a button and it produces you the invoice for the last unbooked hours, you know, and you can decide how often you want to do it. If you want to do it weekly, you can just press the button weekly, and then you get that invoice, and then you can immediately send it to the client. So which simplifies your job, which is the point of this. So that's the timesheets. Payslips, very straightforward. We'll go into the HR side. You will create a payroll for every employee, but what I must mention here is that the payroll is not automated. We don't go into your bank and make the actual payments to your employees. Mm-hmm. But we keep the records of the payroll. So you can create your salary package here on the system, and then we will produce the pay slip and calculate the taxes and everything for you. And then the employees can then see their pay slips when they log in. They can see their pay slips in one place, and also the amount of money spent on payroll is automatically added into your management accounts under your expenses and things like that. So it's like already added into the financials of your business. So when you produce your financials or your management accounts, you don't have to remember to add how much was payroll, because it will just be added, you know, in the background. So all of that is already integrated. So if you use a payroll system here, those values are already in your accounting as well. But I'll show you the other part of the payroll. Then performance reviews, that's another one. Yeah, we added a lot. Some of these things I forget, we already did them. So performance reviews, this we got like a couple of requests last year. Like if you want to keep track of, say you're training certain people and you want to keep track of like your KPIs and things like that, and performance manage people, which is a feature for many companies. We've got it over here. You can do it. It's also between a line manager and an employee. That's why the line manager relationship is important to define at the beginning. So the line manager will create a performance review record. Then it looks like this when you go into it. Every performance cycle has got a start and an end date. You have to define the period. There's a start and the end of the cycle. And this is up to you. Like, we are not like restricting people to do this quarterly or annually or every 6 months. It's up to you. You can pick whatever start and end date that you want. You can physically enter the dates yourself. And then after that, then we have like the check-ins. So we actually help you to remember the next time you must follow up on the performance review. So we call it like a check-in, and then you're going to define that at the beginning. And then on the performance reviews, we've got the goals that you set for the people that they must achieve, and then you can track the goals. You can do their SWOT and then their competencies. Competencies are slightly different from goals. Goals follow the OKR methodology that we have over here, which is a whole new, training session on its own. And then the performance competencies are just things like you need to have this kind of competency by a certain period of time, and this is how we're going to test for it, And then when you do your check-ins, you can like discuss how far the people are, and you can update the progress on it, and things like that. And then these are the check-ins. You can update what's happening. I think we've got a blog on this as well if you want to read more about the performance review system. I don't want to spend too much time on it. And then expenses, that's straightforward. Just submit a business expense, how much what you spend things on, and we'll do that more on the accounting side and so forth. So what I wanted to mention that is high-level generic business things is two things over here. The notes. So this note functionality is something that actually I find personally very useful on the system. I use it more than anything. Reporting and things like that, especially when you need to collaborate. You can come over here and create notes. Notes are just like I don't know, like a document. You can write documents over there, and you can type, and you can add images. You can do whatever you need with it. You can even download it as a PDF. And what's really nice about this as well is if you wanted to share something with someone online, is you can actually get a link of it and send it to somebody, and they can just view the link of whatever the note you wrote. And we're going to add later on, maybe not yet, I don't know if we'll do it in the 6 months that you guys will be on the trial, but one of the plans is to add the AI writer into the notes so that people can produce actual documents using the AI to help them with the content. Yeah, but maybe in 6 months, not yet. But currently it's just, you have to create your own content to do the notes and stuff. And then meetings, I know somebody asked about the meetings. We've got a meeting feature, and meetings are very, I don't know, every business has meetings, and then everyone records their notes in different formats, and nobody knows where the minutes are from the last meeting and so forth, and then somebody leaves the company and then nobody remembers what was discussed. So now if you use this functionality, whenever you have meetings, I even told Skhokho, we should taking minutes now. To record the minutes of the meeting, the date, everything, and then the meetings are in one place. Every time I want to know a meeting I had 2 years back, I can just search for it here, find the minutes, and get it out and things like that.
On voice.
Sorry?
It's voice recorded. Or?
No, it's not voice recorded. It's like this one, for example. It is a specific. You have to take the notes yourself. Okay. Physically, action points. You have to write them down. Who was present in the meeting, you have to add those people there, add their names, who are the people that were there, and when was a meeting. You can also, there's also you can add a meeting link. When you create a meeting, we have a meeting link functionality. So if you don't have Zoom or some of these other online, Meet, Jitsi, whatever, you can use our meeting link, like the meeting link I sent you guys here. We have a similar one that's connected into the system. So when you create a meeting, you can just say here, do you want to include a meeting link? If you say yes, when it sends out the invite, it will include a meeting link in the invite. So the person will get a meeting link, and then you can go and meet up what we're doing right now. And then you don't have to still pay for Zoom as well, over and above everything you're paying for. So so that's it. And then the nice thing about the meeting as well is that now it's in the calendar. So you'll see your Skhokho calendar there. Your meetings will show up on the calendar. Your things that are due, like tasks, invoices, things like that, they will show up on the calendar. So if you look at your calendar, you'll see, okay, I had a meeting today, this invoice is due on that day, and things like that. But what's really nice as well is you can integrate Google to your calendar, which then means this calendar gets integrated with the Google Calendar. So if you have a meeting that you scheduled here that's showing on this calendar, it will also show on your Google Calendar, so that you don't forget it, and then you can get the reminders and things like that. So I actually use that a lot because I keep everything in my Google Calendar. That's how I know if I have an opening. So if I've scheduled something here, I don't have to remember to do it again on the Google Calendar. It will just happen automatically. And then I keep one place for all my availability. So that's meetings and calendar. Let me go to the manager app first, because a lot of what I've already explained is just replicated in the manager app, because the manager views the same thing in a different format. So like what I explained when I talked about the HR file, when I told you guys, get guys to do their HR files, the manager gets to see the HR files in one place also for the team. So if you're managing 4 people in this case, you can see their HR files and all the documents they've uploaded under their HR system. As a manager, you also get to assign tasks to your people. So what you guys do is like Monday.com and those task applications you can do here. As a manager, you can assign tasks to anyone here on your team, and then they'll get those tasks inside of their personal app. So here where it shows my tasks, when they log in here, they will see like a list of all the tasks which they have assigned to them. This is an old demo account, so everything is like to do and it's overdue. But you will, if you're using this on a regular basis, you'd be able to see what are the things you must do, your to-do tasks, the ones you're in progress with, and once you're finished with it, you can archive it and remove it from the, what we call it, a sprint board or whatever it is, so you can see like what you're busy with. Your manager also gets to see that from this side, so the manager can see under, where's the manager side? Under the manager, they can see the team tasks in one place. So they'll see the task for everybody in their team in one place, even though you only see the tasks that are assigned to you. Then the manager also sees the leave records. When people apply for leave, he sees them here and approves, rejects, timesheets, everything. It's just the same. It's just a replication, but from a manager point of view. So there's nothing new here. HR, this is important if you want to use the HR functionality, especially for recording your payroll so that it can be recorded in your management accounts properly. What you need to do is to come here where it says payroll records. Once you invite a person, because I know we used to have this question with the last cohort, they were like, how do I add someone onto this list, right? You can't actually add someone onto this list. They need to be invited as an employee the way I showed you the invites happen. When you invite someone, then they will appear on this list, because once they accept the invite, they are now an employee, and whatever their name, their job title, everything will appear on the list. But when they appear for the first time, they won't have their salary records like this. They'll appear with blank because we haven't set that up yet. So you need to come here under details, or you click just on their name. And this is where you get to set their package. We call like salary package. And you can change this anytime, but I'm assuming people's salary packages don't change all the time. So you come here and say, okay, this is their basic salary. If you have any deductions, you can like put it in here and say, okay, I'm deducting this much because I loaned you something. You can include it in the package. And then the tax and everything gets calculated automatically. So you'll see it'll calculate for you like the tax and the UIF. And then you can add benefits and things like that. Like when you have, I don't know, car allowance, medical aid, whatever allowance, all of those other things, you can add them here as a benefit, or whether it's taxable or non-taxable, you can decide this with your, I don't know, accountant, and just make sure you set everything properly. And you only have to do this once. And then once you've done it, you can have a look at your mock payslip for that employee, because you can look at it if you're happy with the way everything is. This is like a demo account, so it's not even a real bank account, but you can see what the mock payslip looks like. All of them will start with this logo here. You don't have to have this logo on the payslip. What you need to do is to go back to your company settings and update your company logo. When you update your company logo, that is what will appear on the payslip and on all the other documents you produce. And then if you look over here and you notice the information is missing, the bank details and stuff, it means that the person didn't enter it in their personal app. Just remind them, hey, please go and update your bank details. Then those details will automatically show up on the payslip because it will pick it up from their app and everything. And then you can see the UIF and the taxes and everything. The leave balance will also reflect here if you're using the leave system. If you take leave, obviously it will also deduct automatically if you're using the leave system and all of that. So you can see a mock payslip, and you need to do this once really. Then once you've done this, you go back to your payroll records and you do it for all your employees. You can set your payroll date if you want. This is an optional thing. You don't have to set it, because we had a business that was saying, no, but we pay people every 2 weeks. Now your payroll date is only once a month. And I said, okay, fine. If you have an unusual pay cycle that's not the same day every month, what you can do is that you can leave this blank, don't set it. And then every time when payroll needs to run, you can come here and actually manually press the button, and then that's when the payroll will run. When the payroll runs, what happens when payroll runs? It takes all the records that we've got and it creates an accounting record under your business, and it shows that as an expense for your business, and it produces a pay slip for that employee. That employee can then go and have a look at their pay slip, but you still need to physically go to the bank and make the EFT payment, whatever it is that you need to pay the person. We don't have banking yet in here. Any questions there? No. Okay. So that's HR. That's the most important part on the HR side. There's HR policies and stuff like that, which is up to you if you want to use that or not. I think I will go into accounting, which I think is the one which people, sorry? Accounting, yes. Which I think people will use more often, more than anything else. So accounting, I would say start with every app. If you see at the top settings, just start on the settings page. It's always the most important page of the app, okay? So with accounting, you need to come here, and I know you've done the settings, but we've had cases where the business records are different from the accounting records, so come back into the accounting and create and just add your company information again. So this is the information that gets on the payslip, on the invoices, the quotes, and everything like that. You set it once under the settings, so you can set your company address and everything like that, and your financial year start. That's also important so that we can get the records correct, right? And what's important here is if you want to use, because there's a functionality to email a client an invoice directly. Like on the system, there's a button you can press an invoice, and I'll show you that. There's even a functionality where you can create an invoice once and just set it to automatic so that every month it just recurs and you don't have to remember to do it, and email it to the client. If you want to use that feature and you want an email to go directly to the client with your own email address, the email will still go out, but it will go out from Skhokho email address, like our email mailbox. But let's say your client won't recognize it, and and you want to use your own email address. What you can do is that you can come here and put in your Outlook settings. So you can enter your host, port, and whatever. You can ask your IT guy; they will know what these are. And if you set your settings here, you can even do a test over here. There's a button to do an SMTP test to make sure that the email works. Make sure you do the test to make sure it works. Once you do this, in future when you send an email of an invoice or code, whatever, that email comes from your mailbox. As far as the client is concerned, it's not coming from Skhokho. There's actually nothing on the email that says, Skhokho, except your so it looks like you actually emailed them, because I know people lose invoices because they are tracking for your email address and they don't find it in their inbox. And then Sage, guys who want to integrate to Sage, we've got a Sage integration. If you want to do, obviously, our accounting is up to a point, and I'll explain that to you. But if you want to integrate Sage, this is, it does two things. Number one, especially if you're using us for the projects and whatever, and you want to build maybe via Sage, every accounting record that gets produced, this side is then integrated into your Sage account automatically. You don't have to enter it again. And even the opposite way, if you create an invoice in Sage, you can pull it out of here, the information gets integrated that way. But that's optional. You don't have to do that. It depends. Maybe your accountant wants to use Sage, then you can integrate it for them here. Then, so accounting settings is where you start, right? And then you have the account list. I think everyone, if you understand accounts, everyone understands accounts lists. Over here, we have some generic account, accounts, but you can create your own. If your business is unique and it's got different accounts that we don't have here, you can create them. And for every account, you can do transactions. Like if you have a cash account, you can do transactions there and reflect cash going in and out and stuff like that. And all of this will be integrated nicely in your management accounts when you are producing your reporting at the end of the month. So if you update your accounts properly, they will reflect nicely on your management accounts, which I will show later. And then after the account, oh, even booking, yes, that's another thing. So if people are booking time and they need to book time to specific accounts, you can create the accounts here. This is where you would create the admin account. So let's say you have training and development account where you want to keep track of all the money that is getting spent on training and development. So every time people are booking hours, you can tell them book to that account, and then you create it there, and then you can see the transactions on that account here as they do it, even when you invoice and stuff like that. Then sales, this is probably what you will use a lot, which is what I use a lot, that's why I'm assuming. Sales, so on the accounting app there's sales and expenses. So sales is money that's coming in. So when money is coming into the business, the first thing is you define your client. So this is where under accounting, sales, the client list, this is where I would start, is the place to start. Put a record of all your clients here, everyone that you do business with on a regular basis. You know, like, let's say, I don't know, I'm always invoicing Property Point. I'm going to add them as a client here. To add a client record is very simple. You just click over here. You put their name, their email, their phone number, company size, industry. It's just to keep track of which are the clients that you're doing things for. So you'll add your client records there. Once you've added your client records, when you create quotes, invoices, projects, you will always assign them to a specific client, so you can see which client you are doing work for, which client you are invoicing, and things like that.
Sorry, can you please open that attachment again, where you fill in the client information?
This one.
And then the VAT.
Yeah, there's more. You can open it up later. Oh. So let me pick one client, for example, this one. So initially when you create it, it's a few lines that you add, but over time, obviously, let's say you start to work with them more, you can go, if you click on the client, whatever link, it will take you to the detailed page of the client where you can go and say edit, and then there's more fields to add. So over here, you can add their text number. This is their VAT number. Their social media, more address information about the client, so that you can, website, whatever, there's more details to add later. But maybe when you add them for the first time, you just want to do a quick invoice, you're not quite sure if there will be a client for a long time, you just add those, that, you know, the short stuff, but later on you can add more over there. So I'm going to go back to where I was there. So on a client profile, these are the things you'll be able to see. Projects, there's nothing here because this is like, I don't have projects here. Contacts, quotes, invoices. So every time you invoice this client, the invoices will come here for this one client. So if you wanted to, like, there's a place where you can see your invoice list, but then this place is just everything related to this one client only, you know. And contacts, these are like for example, I'll take Property Point as an example. Let's say they are a client, but at Property Point I know 5 people. You know, I can come and create all their names here and say contact number 1 is Mapule, and that's the email address. Contact number 2 is Nomazizi, and that's the details. You can put all the client contacts here, projects, and so forth. What happens is, if like we're working in a company, I leave and I want to hand over all my accounts to the next guy can just go to the client file and find where everything is for that client. You know, this is like another reason why it's done like that, is to keep information in one place. So client list is where you start. After you've done the client list on the accounting, you can also do the client list on the project side, but it works both the same. After the client list, there's I'll start with quotes. Quotes are just like when you create a quote for your business. You can see quotes that are outstanding are the first ones you'll see when you land here. 12 months old quotes, older quotes. You can see, you can filter. You can even search for if this list becomes really long. You can search through it. You can see the quote details, the company name that it was made for, and the status. You know, when the quote is accepted, you can see it. When it's rejected, you can see it, and things like that. So the 12-month-old quotes, let's see the older, you can see the declined and emailed and things like that. You can see the status over time and what's happening with the quotes. Invoices, pretty much the same. You know, you can see your new ones, overdue. Recurring one is the one I use a lot. If I know I'm invoicing the same person, the same amount every every month. I don't have to come here every month to recreate the invoice. I just create it once and mark it as recurring. Then every month, it just gets automatically created and sent to the client automatically, you know, from the system without me even remembering to do it. And then overdue, if something is overdue, you will see it there, so you can follow up and you can see how long it's overdue. And the ones which are valid or that are still active, you can see them here and so forth. You can also search through the invoices and all of that. So if I pick one, for example, this is an invoice, I think, that was created from the timesheets. Yeah. You can see the name. If it's created from the timesheets, you will see the name of the hours and everything. So on the invoice, when you create an invoice, yeah, this is something new we added. You can change the date of the invoice. We didn't have this before, but now you can. If you wanted to backdate an invoice, you can do that. You can see your address, the company address. This is the thing I was telling you about, to invoice it to the client. If you just click this button, it goes off immediately to the client, emailed. It will email to this email address you've entered for the client. But if you entered your settings there, it will come from your email address. If you didn't, it will come from like Skhokho email address. Then something I was just thinking of now. Yes, bulk upload, which is another request we get all the time. We can do bulk upload. So there's many ways to enter invoices into the system. Many ways. Because we used to have questions, people saying, no, but I can't come here every day to remember to do it. I just want to upload it all at once, maybe at the end of the month. You can do that. You'll see over here, there's a CSV upload. There's a document attached here. You just download this document as an Excel sheet. It shows you the columns that we need. Don't change the columns, just keep the template the same and add your information on the template as the example shows. And then save it as a CSV. It has to be a CSV file, not an XLX. So after you've done that, you save it as a CSV, then you just come here and you re-upload the file. Then that information will be automatically just entered into the system. So you don't have to do this every day. You can actually like do a bulk upload. The only thing that people had with a bulk upload is don't leave things blank. Like let's say you're creating an invoice and you're putting it on the Excel sheet, but you don't put the client information, you know, and you leave the client information blank. But how is that invoice going to be created? So things like that, it will just skip it, you know, and then it will, you know, it won't include that record, and then you'll say it only loaded half the record. So when you download the spreadsheet, don't leave blanks. You know, if you don't have all the information, rather not enter it than enter an invoice with only a total, but you're not entering the items and things like that. That's normally the problem with the upload. Another way to do invoices, because we have Zapier, I think you guys would have noticed this, because I actually use Zapier myself personally with some of these things. On the dashboard when we landed, this is, we've got integration with Zapier. So another way to add invoices is you can use Zapier to add the invoices on the system via anything, including a Google form. You know, like we have a Zap, which you can create a Google form and just like send it to people, and then they submit the information and it gets added into the system. There's many ways. You guys can ask me later when you start using the system what's more convenient, what works, because you can create a Zap to do just about anything, and you can use that to add the information on the system. You don't have to like be here daily to create it one by one. Yes.
Regarding the invoice number, can you create your own sequence? Or
No,
is it system generated?
It's system generated. Just to prevent errors in case somebody else decides, you know, their own format and different numbers, or they replicate the numbers. So the way we done it is, I think you can have your own numbering system somewhere else, but our numbering system, we have to have it in a certain way so that things work properly, you know. But you can still have a different numbering system somewhere else, and you can, you know, manage it, you know, there. But here we wouldn't allow you to change this numbering for a reason, because otherwise, you know, things might not work the way they should. Because everyone will have, I don't know, someone will maybe leave the numbering blank, or, you know, put the same number twice, then you'll get an error or things like that.
So when you backdate, does it pick up the same invoice number?
Yes.
Does it change?
No, it picks up the same number. So if you backdate, let's say I created this number, this is really like, it's more like a reference. if I go into this invoice and I decide, you know what, actually, in the accounting system, I wanted to show that this invoice was from January last year, you just change the date here. This number remains, and then you put the date that you want to backdate the invoice to. And one thing you must also remember with this, to include these invoices in your management accounts, you need to change the status to paid. So for as long as the invoice remains sort of like active or created, it's actually not counted in your revenue, because we don't know if you've actually like billed that invoice. Yes, because sometimes you still have like outstanding, invoices that don't get paid. So what you need to do is, under action, the status is there. You need to set it to paid. If the invoice gets paid, then only the paid invoices get included in your financials as revenue. Otherwise, it remains as like outstanding or accounts, whatever, payable, whatever. Yes. And also you can, we added this, you can duplicate. Like if you did the same invoice last month, maybe it's not every month, you just want to duplicate the same details, you can do that. You don't have to recreate it. If you've done something once, you can just duplicate it. You can even, like if you have a quote that a client accepted, you can upgrade it to an invoice. There's a button, you just click and say, upgrade this quote to an invoice. You don't have to recreate a new invoice. So there's also that functionality. And I don't know if any of you will use this, but I've used it once. If you go to our website and over here under WhatsApp, we actually finally activated our WhatsApp interface like this, where if you like on the field and you need it, and you just want to produce an invoice very quickly on the field, and your laptop is far, you can just do it on WhatsApp. Yes, you can do it on WhatsApp, provided your account and your client information is already there. So what you do is that, if we have time at the end, I can show one person.
Through your site.
No. There'll be a phone number. This is the WhatsApp number. Where is it? This is our WhatsApp number. There it is. You just send a WhatsApp to this number over here, and then you get a response. The first time you send a WhatsApp, it will ask you for like your email address. Don't do it now, because it will create a different account for you, not the one that's going to be sent for you. So rather, after we've done all of this and you guys have created your account, then do it. When you enter your email address, it will confirm your email address. It will send a code to your email. And then to make sure that you have access to that email address you've entered, then once you enter the code and the code is correct, it will link your number to your account. So the client records and everything you have here, you will be able to use them to create invoices on WhatsApp. So this is the menu. Like, I think the invoice is number 8 on the menu. You just say 8, create an invoice, and then it will show you a list of clients that you've already entered. And then you say, I want to client 1. Okay, so it's cool. Then it will show you the list of products that you've already entered. Then you say product 2. Then it will ask you what quantity, 10. And then it will say another product, yes, no. You add another product, what quantity, 5. And then it will say, cool, are you ready to go? No, I'm fine. Then it goes and produces an invoice, sends you a link. You can download it like a PDF right there and then. So if you're like on the go and you want to do this quickly on the go, you can do this if you already have an account. So that's a useful feature we also added now that allows people to like,
That is very nice.
yeah. And there's other things you can do here as well, like a quote, an invoice, a product, even an email. If you enter your SMTP, you can even send an email from here. Like you wanted to email someone something quickly, you can just like write an email from the WhatsApp, and then Skhokho will write that email for you. And then
On our letterhead and everything.
no, not on the letterhead. It will just be a simple email. So let's say you like needed to remind someone of something quickly, and you go and say, I want to write an email. Provided you've added your SMTP, it will just say, what do you want to, email the person about? You type the email, and then it will send it as an email to that person.
But there's Skhokho. As Skhokho.
No, as you.
As me.
But you need to enter your SMTP. So you'll see when you try to send an email the first time, it will prompt you to get the SMTP stuff, which is what I was explaining over here under the settings. Where is it? Under accounting settings. These SMTP records, ask your IT guy, your host, your port, your username, and your password for your email. and all of these. It will ask, the first time you do it, it will ask you for these details. And then after that, in future, it will remember them because it will be saved. And then it will just, you can just like send an email to people and stuff like that. Can be useful if you're like far from a computer, but your WhatsApp is closer, you know.
And if only, because if you have your email on your phone.
Yeah, if you have your email on your phone, that's fine. But like some people don't. Like you might like just only have WhatsApp, but maybe you needed to like remind someone something quickly. You know, it's there. It's a feature to use if you want. So so that's code and invoicing and all of that. And yes, you can use some of it on WhatsApp, which is very useful. And so that covers the sales part. The expenses part is, this is now money going out of your business. This is where you record the money going out. This is stuff that also gets added up into your management account. You'll record all your vendors the same way you do with your client list. You have a vendor list. Like there's guys I need to pay hosting every month, domains or AfriHost, whatever. You can come here and record those people as vendors. You create them the same way. You say it's AfriHost, that's their email address, phone number, in whatever. So every time you produce an expense, you can associate it with AfriHost or whatever. So over time, when you're analyzing your financials, you can see, hey, I'm spending too much money on hosting, or I'm spending too much money on rent or on payroll or whatever. Then you can see your expense breakdown later on, how you're spending your money. So you start by creating your vendors. You put your vendors here. After you created your vendors, under accounting, this is sales expenses. So under expenses, you can see now your expense list. This way you create, it looks like an invoice thing, but it's slightly different. The accounting person who's responsible for the accounting is the one who sees what I'm showing you right now. So only give this access to the person who needs to see your business's accounting. But employees, for example, with expenses, it's actually like integrated into everything. So let's say your employee was traveling to site, which we used to have, and they need to use an Uber, but they need to claim it back from you. Whatever, you need to pay them back the Uber fees. Obviously, they're not going to come and enter it in here, that expense. They're going to do it under the personal app. There's a thing for expenses there. You know, my expenses. So the personal app is what the employee sees. So under my expenses, they can go there and enter, I traveled to site, I used 300 rands on the Uber, enter the expense. The manager gets to see, they can approve it or decline it. If it's approved, then it will show up here to be included in the rest of the expenses. We also do expenses on a project level as well. So under projects, I'll get to that. Project financing, there's expenses that are done in there. And when you do the expenses in a project, they also show up over here under operating expenses. Then we also do expenses, I think, on the sales side, on the CRM, because under every lead, there is like some sort of very high level, how much money a lead is costing you, like to chase, let's say a tender, it's a lead, and you have to go travel to site or host clients or things like that, and you record those expenses, they also show up here. But you can record them inside of the CRM app. So sales can be recorded inside of the CRM, inside of the project, even on the personal level, but they all get aggregated here for the accounting person to see where the expenses are coming from. And then they get added into your management accounts at the end of the month, whenever. Now I've talked a lot. I'm going to take a break if there's a question. Catch my breath. Question? No. Okay, so this is a demo account. I haven't used it in a long time. So, and I haven't inputted data. Normally I like to put in data before I do a demo account so you can see how certain things look like. But you have now a dashboard for accounting. So the dashboard only displays back information that you are entering anyway. And the management accounts, which Property Point will pull out from the system, is going to display data that you are already doing on a day-to-day. So if you're issuing your invoices and your expenses properly, that information gets added in the background, and that's what shows up here on the dashboard. So you can see very quickly, is your business making a profit or loss? This will be green or red. Immediately when you land here, you can see based on your money coming in and money going out. How many clients you've got and how many invoices, how much you invoiced year to date and month to date. You can see that also. And then you can see some of the graphs. Over here you can see the expense breakdown. This is because I don't record the other expenses. I'm only recording payroll, because payroll is recorded automatically. So the system records it every time a payslip is produced. So I haven't been using this, so I haven't been recording the other expenses. But when you record the other expenses, you'll see this in a pie chart. Where's your money going? Payroll should be what, 60%? Then you're healthy. If 60% of your business is payroll and everything else is distributed amongst the rest, you're good. If payroll is like this, something's not right. It's just that I haven't been recording the other expenses. That's why it looks like this. And then you can see very quickly your outstanding invoices on the dashboard as well, like people that haven't paid you and how long they haven't been paying you for. So you can follow up because those are the guys why the graph is looking like this. So you can like follow up those people so that your numbers can go back to being green again. So on the dashboard, this is what you see. Very high level, cash flow, expense breakdown, what you need to chase, who you need, who's owing you money. You can see it here. And then there's a report. This is a report that that you pull out for your cash flow, you know. So this gets calculated for you automatically. You don't have to spend another day every month to write down this was, you know. You just have to use a system, and this is gonna be added, you know, like your cost of sales will be aggregated from your accounts, from your invoicing and everything, and it will just be presented in this nice report. All you have to do is to print it out and submit it. Or even better, you know, the guys can print it out on their side, you know, and you don't have to remember to do it, just as long as you're using the system. I think what's important is, if it's important to you, is to use it, and then it will save your time from doing all of this every month. And then you can see your top client list. Also this here, you can see this is important, just very high level with you. Where's your money coming from? Okay, this guy there's one big client who's got most of my revenue. Maybe I'm too concentrated or whatever. You can sort of from a high level see that already. Or if everything is nicely broken down, you can see, oh, these are my clients and this is how much money each and every one of them is paying me. You want these numbers to be evenly distributed so that, you know, if you lose one client, you don't lose your whole business. In this case, like this guy, if you lose this client, you've lost the whole business maybe, you know. So things like that you want to see on your reports, you know. Yeah. So this is the accounting side, and when you do the things regularly, you know, these numbers will update on their own. You don't have to remember to come here and do it. Now, I mean, some tips from us and people that have used the system in a while. What we find helps is goal setting. We actually do goal setting, which we have to track regularly. We used to do that, actually, we must go back to it. Goal setting works really well. So if, let's say your business is doing, I don't know, $1 million revenue, and you can set yourself a goal to say, I want to achieve a certain revenue and things like that. And then have regular, hello? I think there's someone unmuted themselves. So we have a goal setting applications. Can we mute everyone who's unmuted? I can't see. Yes, is someone logged into the thing? All right, I think that was it. It was creating feedback. Okay, cool. So what I was saying is that what we find, because it's easy to like use this system for the first month and then stop and forget. So what we found, what helped with us was goal setting. Set yourself a goal and then track it regularly. So with revenue, it's easy. You can say, okay, I want to improve my revenue to a certain amount. We have a goal setting app here. I haven't covered it yet, the OKR. And you can use it for your tracking of your goal. So you can come there and like set whatever the goal that it is. You can create it here. There's a video. Oh, by the way, every page has got this docs button and this video button. So this video button, you just like watch it, and then you can watch the video about how to use this. So I won't cover how on this video. Just go and click on that video and watch that video. But with the goal setting, what we used to do was create a goal. Okay, improve my revenue from X to Y, and in 6 months or whatever, and then we'll track this monthly. And then every month we come back and we report on the progress. So for this, for example, let me pick one goal here, like achieve 1,000 users in 12 months. You can come here and track what you're doing. You can report, You can update what the current value is every time. You know, if you improved by 10%, you can come and enter the current value. So you can like track this regularly, and you can do this for like a management meeting. You know, like remember in corporate we used to have these management meetings every Monday or every Friday. And it's a good management meeting to do your goal setting in the meeting and track how far we are on the goals, check what the numbers are, update the current values, and that helps you also to keep, you know, on the system. It's just a tip on, you know, remaining active and, you know, and all of that. If there's no questions on that, I'm going to move to the project app, because I think the project app is it's connected to the accounting app, because we've done it that way so that your project finances can immediately feature on the accounting side, and your client list and all of that is the same client list on the project side, on the accounting side, but they are two separate apps. So you can give someone access only to the project side and give someone access only to the accounting side. So your project side will be like your ops people, your ops manager, those are the guys that will be on the project side. And then your accounting manager is the one that's on the accounting side, but it's just different sides of the same coin. So if you look at the client list, you see this client list looks exactly the same as a client list on the project side, you know. So if you click this, for example, get Bitcoins now, you see all of that, quotes and whatever. But don't worry that the person can see invoices and quotes. If the project manager doesn't have accounting rights access, that you didn't give it to them here when you invited them, but you wanted them to be a project manager, they won't see the quotes and invoices. They will just see client list, projects, and contacts. They only see what they have access to see. And then so that's the client list. And then from the client list, you go to the project. We did a lot of revamping on the project app the last time. So this will be your project list. So a project is like, because people, we get this question all the time, like, you know, a task. A task is just meant to be something that you want to assign to your employee and say, I just want you to go and write the minutes of meeting today, and I want it due by Monday. That's a task. But if you want someone to, you know, to complete a, you know, I don't know, the design of a, you know, I don't know, a website in the next 6 months, you can't create that as a task, because we used to get people that were taking projects and creating them as a task, and then they want to know, I want to be able to update regularly what I'm doing on this task. And I would say, no, but actually what you're describing is a project. So use a project side, because the project has got more functionality. Like if you take this project, for example, when you create this project, you can, let's start here before we get confused. You can create milestones. You know, you can take that big thing of saying, I want you to design a website in 6 months, and break it down into milestones. The first thing I'm going to do is complete the design, and then I'm going to test the system, and then I'm going to do the front end, then I'm going to do the back end. Those are like high-level milestones, you know. So you can create them like this and give every one of them a target. Like this one I'm going to finish by this date, and the next one by that date, and so forth. And then you have like a timeline of events. And then inside every milestone, you're going to have, again, small tasks in the milestone. So if you have a big milestone that says, we will do the front end this month, instead of that doing the front end, someone has to actually load the template. Someone has to do something else. Those are small tasks inside of a milestone. So that's where you come into the milestone and you create the task. Now, these tasks are assigned to a person. When you create a milestone, it's just a high-level project milestone. Everybody in the project has this milestone. But then inside of the milestone, then you can create one task for one person. Okay, you, Bertha, must do this, and someone else must do that. And then you create tasks for every milestone. And then when you do that, on the project side, we've now added the project controls, if you have worked with project controls. So this is to help guys who are in the service, you know, where you have to like keep track of hours and how much everyone is spending on certain things. When you create these tasks, you can actually assign them to a person, and then you can assign hours. So you can say this task should take you 20 hours, or this one should take you 30 hours or whatever. This is where now these hours gets added into the project resources, which then gets added into the project planning or the project budget, if you want to know like the budget later on, based on the hours you've added up and, you know, and you've built over here. So later when you do that, what I was telling you about creating the bill when people now have done their timesheets, because when they do the time, first of all, you create the tasks and you assign it to a person, and then you assign hours. So you say 80 hours for this task or 30 hours for that. When they do their timesheets, they book to those tasks that you've assigned. You can see over here how much they've booked, how much was approved, and then when you're ready to like invoice those hours, you can see them here. So you have like your booked hours, you have your billed hours, and then you have the hours which are not approved yet. Maybe they're sitting in some line manager's inbox. They still have to approve it. And then you can see the budget. The budget is everything that you have initially added in here, the total, before anyone booked anything. The booked hours are the ones that have been booked, yes, and approved. And then these are booked and unapproved. And then these are the ones that you've already billed the client. So you can see the breakdown here, and you can see how profitable your project is, you know, because you can see the cost rate of the person and the hourly rate that you're billing the client and the margins and all of that. So we've got some pretty decent project controls, you know, because I remember in corporate we used to like get just a specific app to do this, which was quite expensive. So for guys who need to do like resource planning, I think you get like pretty decent resource planning from Skhokho in terms of, you know, doing project controls, you know, because you can keep track of everything. And then the thing I was telling you about creating the invoice, once people book hours and they get approved, you can see the balance over here where it says 8. This balance will go up. So if you're doing your invoicing every week, for example, some people do it every week, you just come here on a Friday and you click this bill button. This bill button takes you to the accounting. It creates an invoice. You get to look at the invoice, and if you want to change things here and there, if you're happy with it, you just send it out. It's just like a one-click invoicing, instead of now remembering all of these and going and creating the invoice yourself. Then these are like now the project expenses I told you about when I said there's also expenses on the project side. You know, you might have, I don't know, you spend money on contractors, software, other things on the project. So this is just on a project level. You know, you can do that here, and let me know if I'm boring, but like for guys that do projects, maybe they'll want to, you know some of these details. But later on, if you forget some of the stuff I'm saying, remember, just go back to the project list. And I think the very high level page, there's the video. Just watch it again. And there's also this thing that says docs. If you open the thing that says docs, it takes you to our documentation page. This one is typed up nicely. Everything I'm explaining, you can like read it and see the screenshots. Because you're not going to remember everything I'm saying. Even I wouldn't remember it. So read the docs. And you can also get a hold of me anytime, and we can see where we can help you. But I think once you get into the swing of things, you'll be fine if you use that. I don't know how many people will use the project side of things, but like if you do need to, so another thing about projects that's also that we use definitely quite a bit is the documents. You want to share documents with people in a project, you save them over here. So this is like the one repository for the project documents. Instead of having 100 Dropbox folders where no one knows where they are anymore, you can save them in here. You can also now share this even with your client. That's another feature that we actually have that I forget to use sometimes. But let's say you've got a client that's a regular client that you constantly need to have meetings with and share documents with, and you don't have to like email them stuff all the time. You can just upload these documents here. And then if you go back to, what is this project? Innovation Accounting Dashboard. If you go back to, let me open this in another thing. If you go back to Innovation Accounting Dashboard, which is this one, and you have a look at this client name, I don't know which project we have a client that's active. Is it this one? Stark. The client contacts. Okay, there's nothing. But what I wanted to show you was, for this client, for this project, you have a client who's associated with the project. Over here on the project list, you can see the company name of the client. If you go to the client profile, right? Let's say I go to this client profile. Under contacts, there it is. You've got a client contacts. These are people in the client organization that you work with all the time. What you can do is that there's a button here that says invite client. So what you do is that you send this, you click this button, it invites the client to the client portal of your project app. So when they can like log in and view the documents and things like that on their side. So you don't have to like email them documents all the time. You don't have to remember to, you know, like when you have meetings and you've recorded minutes of meetings, yeah, I'll get to the minutes of meeting. If they go to the client portal, they can just see the minutes of meeting. They can see even their previous invoices. Everything is there on the client portal. So it's a good place to share documents with the client, and it looks more professional than
transparent too.
And transparent, instead of like mailing the documents all the time. And they don't have to have a Skhokho account. They just, from the invite you send them, they just need to create a profile though. They just username and password the same way you did. And then you can see over here, even if they've granted, they've accepted, like this guy accepted, which means they are logged in. And this one where it says invite sent, it means they never accepted the invite. So you know they are not looking at the documents. And you can see all of that.
So the only access they have is just to view the document only?
They also have the ability to upload. They cannot delete. They cannot delete anything, but they can also upload, because what we found was some clients also need to share stuff. So they need to send you also, you know, I don't know, the project drawings. And we need the drawings in one place, because if they get emailed, they're sitting in someone's inbox, you know, and then your inbox also gets full and you have to delete all things all the time. So they can upload project drawings on their side. When you come in here under the project, under documents, you will see them here, whatever they've uploaded. And then you can see the documents are there. You can open the document, download it. They cannot delete. You mean they cannot edit? No. This is like a Dropbox. So it's not, you know, Word online. You know, even you can't edit the doc. It's just a Dropbox. So you work on a document somewhere and then you upload it. Yes. If you want to work on an active document, I would recommend use what we call notes, right? So what notes is, the client actually doesn't see the notes, do they? I think the notes is between the project team. So this is, if like we are working on one thing, all of us in the project team, we can work on it under notes, you know, over here. And then everybody that logs in that has access can work. So it's a working document, and then when you're done with it, you download it as a whatever document, and then you put it somewhere else, wherever you need it. This is like a Word document in a way. It's got like all the features of Word. Actually, the majority of features of Word. You can like add images, add a table. You can actually produce a proper full report over here from the notes, you know, with headings and subheadings and everything, and add things to it, and you know, and it updates as you go.
So can they also download the document from the system to themselves?
Yes. You mean the client?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. The client, that's I think what you want them to do. They can download, they can upload. They can download, they can upload, they can view. They cannot delete or change things. Yes. They cannot delete or change. So on the project side, I've already covered the notes. So these are the notes, the documents, project expenses, you will show them over there, milestones, and project resources. There's quite a bit on the project side. I think this also just needs like a whole day in its own, you know, on its own. But there's a lot you can do with the project app. And I think the important thing is to know what's what. Like, there are certain things that are tasks, certain things are goals. Like, let's say I want to improve on my revenue. That is not a project. It's a goal. You want to use maybe the OKR function for it. If you are chasing a tender, that's a CRM lead. You know, you can put it under CRM. If you already won a project and have an existing client, that is a project. If it's got multiple people working on it, and there's, you know, multiple tasks in a project, you know, you can put all the different tasks. You can also have these integrated with your Google, so that these tasks show up on your Google Calendar, so you don't forget that something is due. So these tasks that I have here, if I've integrated in my Google Calendar, they will also like be pinned on my calendar on the day that they are due, so I can see, oh, today I've got these things that I must do today. But you also get an email on the day to remind you of the tasks that you've got. And we do not send too many notifications. So it's the email on the day and on your calendar that you get that. Right, and then the last thing to go through is the CRM. And I won't spend too much time on the CRM because there's a lot on the CRM as well. But I don't know if you guys do like marketing emails like MailChimp. You can do that here if you want to like send emails to like your people, your clients. We've got the mailing functionality in the CRM. You can create a contact list. So the contact list in the CRM is different from your client list. It's completely different. It's even different structure. The contact list is people. Let's say you go to an event, someone gives you a business card. That's a contact. You can come and add them to the CRM, and then you can like add them to your mailing list and send them emails, whatever. But a client is a business, like a company. So you add them under the client list. And the client list is generally shorter than the contact list. Then on the CRM, we've got the contacts, which you can do emails and stuff like that. And then we've got the leads, which are these ones. Let's say it's a tender or a proposal, or you're just chasing a specific contract, an opportunity or a lead. You would record it here in the lead. We call them hustles. You're hustling to win business. So if let's say you've got this hustle there, I'm just going to open it up. So under hustles, you can define the hustle there. This is where I said there's a bit of financials. It's not real financials, but like you can get to like assign a budget for the activity. Uguti, how much money are you going to spend on chasing this lead? And if you want that project, what the value would be. So later when you do analytics, you can see how much money you spend to win, how much business in your company. So if you keep track of this later on for your strategy, these will be good numbers to look at. And then every time you have an expense, you record it, and then you can see how much you've already spent on the thing. And then the same thing, contacts. Same thing with projects, where you have a project and the contacts in the business. You can come and add them here and say you've got a hustle or that you're chasing a tender, and then this tender maybe is with Department of Health, and over there 3 people, you add their names here so that everyone knows good for this lead. These are the people we are talking to. The expenses, you show them there. If you have a meeting, every time you have a meeting, maybe a tender briefing, whatever, you come and record the minutes there. Documents, tender documents, whatever, you'll upload them here. Notes works the same way as any other notes. You will show it there. And then what else is here on the sales side? I think that's pretty much it. Or you can also see your funnel, which is useful. I suppose you can see now all the leads that you're chasing, where they are. These are still upcoming. These are like you're busy with these ones and you've lost or won these ones. And maybe when you're having your sales meetings with your sales team, you can like tell them, guys, why don't we have anything in the funnel coming up? We're going to be in trouble in 6 months. Maybe when we do projections, you can use these numbers for projections, because you can see over here, it's a very small, you can't, but if you zoom in here, based on the value of your hustle, there's a number, and then it gets added up for you, so you can see, okay, this tender that I'm chasing, if I win it, it's worth this much, which means my sales funnel or my whatever, this is the money that's coming. And you can see whether your business is in good health or not, or you can discuss these things and say, I don't know, this is too little, too much, we need more leads or more tenders, based on how often you win the tender and things like that. So there's a lot on the sales side. I don't want to spend too much time. It depends on whether or not you're going to use it. But the social media stuff that I was telling you guys about, you won't see it when you log into Skhokho now, but it's there, because we're just finalizing final testing and things like that. But we're very excited about this. You'll be able to link your social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, right? And you can do up to 3 accounts each. So 3 Instagrams, 3 Facebooks, and 3 LinkedIn company pages, not individual. Because as an individual, you can create a company page. So you can have company pages here, and you can connect them to over here. So what you'll do is that when you want to schedule a post, because most businesses have to do social media all the time. And let's say you have a social media account for whatever your business is, you must now give your passwords to your employees so they can go and post, which is not always safe. So what you'll do here is you log in these accounts, And then, like, if you use Hootsuite for scheduling, you can now do it here. There'll be a calendar there. You click on it. You schedule a post to go out on Monday. And then you tick, tick, tick. It must go to all of the social medias at once. And then on Monday, the post just goes. So you schedule it in one place. And then it goes to like all of your accounts at the same time. And then you can like even have approvals done. So if, let's say, Sinikiwe is the one who's creating all the posts, but I must approve them, she can create them, and then when I log in, I'll see, okay, I need to approve this post. They won't go out until I approve. And once I approve, they go out at the same time. So you can have like a social media strategy. Instead of hiring a whole social media manager to do all your posts, you can schedule them and approve them in one place, and they'll go out accordingly when they're due and stuff like that. But it's not ready, but it will be ready like in a month and a half. But it's there already. I'm just going to activate it so everyone can see it when it's ready. So this is really cool for keeping your social media, up to date. Because people then sometimes neglect, as a business, yes, you do CRM, but you also have to reach out, especially if you're B2C, and keep your social media active. And we also have integrated this with like pictures. You can like search for pictures, like very easily. You can create content very easily without thinking too hard. It like gives you suggestions about what to write depending on what you want the post to be about. So it helps you create like a nice post. Maybe the next training I can show you how to use it when we launch it. But I think it will be a very useful thing to add for businesses. So I mean, like, I don't know what else a business needs that Skhokho doesn't have yet, but you can let me know.
So it's got like those posters like Canvas?
Not like Canvas specifically, because it's got pictures which don't have writing on. So just like pictures. So let's say I want a picture of somebody working on a laptop, I can search, and then I'll find the picture. And then for the caption, I can say what I want to write about. So I can say I want a post that is introducing a new product, and then what is the name of the product, and then it will create you a nice paragraph with emojis, hashtags, everything, and you just schedule it.
And then
it goes.
I think you left it out, that part of saying that you can send out the marketing to a contact list.
Yes. Yeah, that's over here. So under the mailing lists, this is where you would come to create. It's under CRM. So under the mailing list, social media and CRM, they actually go together. On mailing list, you'll create a mailing, because obviously you might have 1,000 contacts, but they are not the same. Like some are, you can have different groups of contacts. We call them contact groups. So you come here and create a mailing list there at the top where it says mailing list. So I'm going to go one I've created there. See the contacts. So in this mailing list, there's these many contacts. You can add them over here via CSV. Like you can go and create a CSV file, because you don't have to add them one by one. Let's say you have a list somewhere from MailChimp, because MailChimp, you're going to export their list via CSV. And then you can have a list saved via CSV somewhere, and then you can come and upload it here. And then it can upload up to 1,000 people per group, because we don't want you to be sending more than 1,000 people at a time. You can create another group and add another 1,000, And then once you've done that, these are all the people on your list. Then once you've created your list and you're happy with your list, there's also the subscriber thing managed for you, because obviously by law you have to give people the ability to like unsubscribe. But you don't have to worry about that. Skhokho, we manage it in the background. The only thing you will see is that if somebody unsubscribes, it will show here. But this will be red. It'll say no, means they've unsubscribed. Then when you come here, you now this is your list. Once you've created the list, you go into email templates and you create a template. You can have more than one template, for example. Let's say this list, I send them 2 emails a month, and you can create the weekly one, like this is a newsletter you can type it here, and create the, whatever it is must go out in the email. You can have the title and the details of the mail. And then you can see the guys that are on the mailing list there and what the email is going to be. You can put even pictures in here, like this is like a word, like a, rich text, You can do whatever you need to put on the list and like, write it as you see fit. Then when you're done, you want to see what the mail looks like, you can do send a test email. and then it will send an email to yourself, and you can like, okay, I'm happy with it, and then you say live email and sends to everyone on this list. But what you need to know with this also, you need to do the SMTP settings for this as well. And this is different from the other SMTP we've already discussed. So every section has its own SMTPs because we're not going to have the same mailbox for everything. Mm-hmm. So the guys who are sending the invoices, they've got like, maybe it's accounting at your company, and you put those SMTP settings. And the guys who are sending the sales, whatever, maybe you have it as sales at whatever, that's the mailbox. So you need to come under CRM, where it says sales settings there, and then you need to go over here and set your SMTP settings. You know, this is your domain, your whatever, the port for the sales mailbox. And the difference between the sales and the accounting one is the accounting invoice will go out even if you didn't do this. It's just that it will go out from Skhokho account. It will look, the invoice will be like from Skhokho. But the sales don't work if you don't do this. So you must do the, because we don't want to send marketing emails from Skhokho. Because otherwise people will abuse it, and then we will get blacklisted. So another thing about sending mails is that you obviously have to follow the rules. You know, you mustn't just like spam people, and that's why you must use your own mailbox. So you come here and you enter your details there. You must do this first and do the test. Before you do anything, there's a test button to make sure everything works. If you're happy and the test works, then you go back to where you were. You can send a test email again there. The test email here is different from that test. That test is to make sure the SMTP settings are correct. This test is to see what this email looks like. So you can see if you have everything right the way you want it, and edit when necessary. Then when you're ready, you send live, then it goes to everyone in here. Unfortunately, we don't have automation yet, so you have to come here every time you want to send a mail and click it. At least you don't have to send one by one. You know.
And videos, can you attach videos? Or it's just pictures?
I don't know why you'd want to attach a video, maybe a link to a video, because I don't even know if you can attach a video to a normal email because of the space the video takes, you know. So maybe you want to send a YouTube link or something like that. Normally, if I want to send someone a video, I'll put it on YouTube and send them a link, or we transfer and send them a link or something like that. Because otherwise, even a normal mailbox is not going to go through because of the size of the video. But pretty much everything you can do, and this mail will come from your email. So whatever your email is, at what, it won't have anything that says, you know, Skhokho on it. You know, it will have your thing, and it look very personal, unlike MailChimp mails, which are very, you know, you can see this is a MailChimp group email. So these ones will be very, very personal, but there will be a nice line at the end that says unsubscribe if you want. So people can actually unsubscribe if they want from your mailbox. Yeah. Cool, I think I've talked a lot. I'm open for questions. Otherwise, maybe we'll have a follow-up. But in the meantime, I think we'll then do the invites. And then me and Skhokho will schedule the one-on-ones. It can be like a virtual call. It doesn't have to be now, you know. So we'll do like virtual one-on-one so that we can, maybe we'll give you like a couple of days to, you know, sensitize, and then we'll do the virtual one-on-one. So, and just see, you know, how everyone is, you know, finding the system and stuff like that. And yes, we are open for, you know, suggestions and comments and tips and stuff like that, you know. Send us those comments. I mean, even the WhatsApp thing, we actually built it because of recommendations where people were like, you know, I don't have a laptop where I'm working, and we're like, okay, fine, let's find another way to help you. So you should send them.
But the comments and recommendations come after you have used
it. Yes.
So yes. I urge you guys to use it. It's very user-friendly, having gone through it myself. And if you need help, I mean, I'm here. Nini's here, Beta is here, we are here to assist. And you show them where they can get the videos for
yes.
functionalities.
Yes, I show them. It's on every page.
Yeah.
They help with.
Hopefully we can start running out from Monday next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
the virtual one-on-ones.
Or the one-on-ones we'll try from Monday next week. So yes. You guys can like maybe send the invites already. Yes. And then you guys can see how well you win trying to log in with the invites. And then from Monday next week, we'll start the one-on-one sessions for like a proper, you know, we'll go through the system with you guys.
Okay. We can do that today, right?
Maybe I'll show you one, and then after that you'll be able to do the rest.
I'm sorry, we arrived a little late, so we didn't get the intro of it all. What is the cost of it after the 6 months?
Okay. It's on the website. We charge there very cheap. So it's between $20 and $40 a month. $40 includes the CRM and the social media. It's only going to be on the $40 package. The $28 package has the accounting, which is the majority of what actually other people use it for, is the accounting and the projects. And then the starter is everything else, like, the HR. But all of these include these, so this is the basic, and then this includes this plus this, and then this includes everything plus this. So what I'm showing you and what you guys will be trialing is everything, right? Including social media, including when we add the AI stuff later on. It's the full package. And maybe over time we will price it like that, and then charge per person, But now we're charging per company.